It's Wednesday, November 4th, 2015. I'm Rim.
I'm Scott.
And this is Geek Nights. Tonight, anime is just animation, so simmer down.
Rim's idea.
Let's do this. I forget if I promised I was going to do this until the end of the year, or if I was just going to do it till the end of summer. But I'm just going to start talking about biking again, because now it's dark and not super fun to bike home in the dark.
Promise breaker.
I'm pretty sure I've said until the end of the season or until the end of summer.
Even with lights, yeah, biking home in the dark kind of sucks.
Though, actually, now
fuck
that
you, daylight savings time. Fuck you. Fuck you.
Except, no, the problem is actually you like daylight saving time. There's no S. It's just daylight saving time.
Sure.
It's not daylight savings time. Don't fuck with me when it comes to time. But the problem is we want to go to daylight saving time and never come back.
Correct.
You want to get to EDT and stay on EDT forever. EST is the bad news bear.
Yes.
In fact, I want to go like EDDT, like double daylight. I would like it to be dark until like 9:30 or 10.
That might fuck up with people who gotta go sleep.
When? You're not going to sleep till like midnight unless you don't have a life.
You'd be surprised with little kiddies going to bed at like,
Well, when I was a kid, like my parents would make me go to bed when the sun was still out sometimes, just because, time zone and latitude in Michigan and everything. But yeah. But all that aside, I've been watching anime. But the problem is I'm watching old anime that we've already talked about on Geek Nights. And two, Scott's not watching with me. So
I'm watching The Man Who Punches Once.
I'm watching
The Guy Who's Way Too Big.
Oh, I got way behind on Guy Who's Too Big.
Yeah.
We've
done shows on all of these. We've done all of these before.
We can't review Monogatari or One Punch Man until they're done, or at least a season is done enough to where we both watch them and can do it like, hey, it was worth it.
Yeah, I mean, I
end.
gave Rim the first 2 volumes of One Punch Man manga, but it's like we don't need to do another show. It's almost the same as the anime.
Yeah, unless the only thing is the review of like the holistic beginning to end. Like if I reviewed Project Blue GQ based on the first episode, AAA best show ever, but based on the whole show, it's like a B-, B-ish. Well, I guess roaches, not bees, but.
But yeah, we can't do another episode on another Geek Nights episode about a show when we've only seen 2 more episodes of that show.
And what I've been watching lately, other than the things we just talked about, is a lot of not anime that Scott's not watching. And I'm also watching Fujiko Mine because we never actually finished it, and it's super.
It's on Hulu. I'm gonna watch. There's a bunch of Lupin on Hulu. I'm gonna watch all of it eventually.
Well, because I really want to watch.
I'm watching South Park, which I think there's a new episode tonight. At least probably last night for most of you.
I'm a few episodes behind, but you haven't been watching Ponies.
That's a shame. Nope, I gotta watch that.
Yeah, Ponies started a little like
the last episode I watched was the whole town is like Harrison Bergeron.
That was literally the season opener.
Yeah, no, there was a couple episodes after the season opener.
So you watched a little bit after that?
No, that was the last episode I saw.
Yeah, so you saw the season opener and literally nothing else.
No, the season opener was 1 or 2 episodes before that one.
No, it wasn't. I thought that was the season opener, the Harrison Bergeron Ponies.
No, I thought that was 1 or 2 before that.
I don't remember.
Anyway.
But once you get to the Halloween one, it's getting a little again. But
Adventure Time is starting again too.
Yeah,
and
actually, Adventure Time's starting again with something big. I'm kind of into this bubbling business.
Here is something interesting for you, by the way. There will be an episode this season of Adventure Time that was partially storyboarded by Casey Green and someone else.
Oh, I'm surprised I didn't know that was happening.
He just tweeted it today. Like when I left work, I saw that tweet.
Oh, I follow him on Twitter, but I have not looked at Twitter in a little bit because I was actually doing work at work.
That's right. Maybe the dick butt will appear.
Oh, it has to.
Maybe Finn's butt.
So in the news, we don't pay like a lot of like little anime cons or even like mid-sized anime cons and fan conventions in general come and go, and some of them ask us to attend, and we really usually don't because we're busy. There's a lot of reasons why we don't always go. But there was one anime convention that I had not ever heard of until this story. The Akiba Expo.
All right, it sounds like a normal anime con.
So
where is it?
I guess it's in Anaheim, California.
They already have Anime Expo like out there in California. Why do they need
Well, I could go to the Akiba Expo website to tell you exactly when it was. I think it was in December, but it might have been in February. Like I don't know because
it's coming up soon.
It's gone.
All right, so it's an anime con that failed. Exciting, not news. This happens all the time.
What's interesting is that this is by no means the first time that this has happened in very recent memory. But
it happens all the time.
Yeah, but most people don't seem to realize this because from what I can gather, thousands of people bought badges.
Whoa, really?
Yeah.
Why would you buy some badge to some shady con that you've never heard of?
See, I followed up on all these stores.
Like there was a convention in New York actually. I think it was when we were at PAX.
Yeah.
Called WakaCon.
Yeah.
And
it was supposed to be at the Brooklyn Expo Center. I think.
A place I wanted to check out, but I did not have anything to do with that because I was like, wow, this is totally shady. But apparently it happened and it was somewhat legit. So maybe I'll go to it next time.
So not only did apparently thousands of people register for this.
But I was so skep of a con I never heard of before.
Get hotel rooms for it. Post about how excited they are that they're going to be at it. But they bought $160 Artist Alley tables.
No one's getting their money back.
I don't think anyone's getting their money back.
That's a shame.
So this, like there was that Minecraft con that was the same thing. Like the
Are the people who ran it going to get busted for fraud?
They're gone, as far as I can tell.
Why don't we fraud and run away?
That's what I was talking about. So Scott, I got my new convention.
And if we're going to fraud and run away, why Anime Con fraud? We can do we can do professional conference fraud where the tickets are $1,000.
So I've got Harry Potter Avengers Con. That's my con. That's the convention.
It's not
going to
make as much money as Business Con.
Wait till you see our guests. So we have a whole anime track. We've got Miyazaki is going to be there.
Really?
Giving our keynote. We've got Satoshi Kon. He's going to give a really big presentation.
This was Avengers Harry Potter Con.
We'll get to that too. Actually, I've got John Oliver to host the cosplay.
All right.
So he's going to be the speaker of the cosplay. We're going to have a rave. At least 10,000 people can go to this rave. We've got Tumix, Megumi Hashibara, and every single K-pop band.
Every single one.
Everyone. All of them.
You know how many there are? Because it would take like a week just to hear one song from each of them.
I assume there's actually an infinite number. It's like one of those functions where RNG just keeps popping up new band names the deeper you go.
I think at some point someone said there's like hundreds of idols in K-pop.
So
like
yeah,
if you
basically,
added them all up from the
here's the other thing that was
time to the
interesting.
big time.
That Minecraft convention, like a lot of people were pretty sure it was BS from the beginning. Even though at the same time, tons of people like paid and tried to go to it or whatever. DashCon, the entire internet knew it was going to be a disaster, but yet somehow people showed up to it. But this one
isn't even going to happen.
The time between the internet saying, "Hey, is this convention a scam?" to it imploding was like 2 days.
Wait, why not just, if you're scamming and someone finds you out, why are you running away? Why don't you just keep taking money and say you're not a scam until the last possible second?
I put even odds on one of two possibilities. This is my guess. Possibility one, it was a scam from the beginning, but the person running it got funding from someone else. And I've heard some rumors about that might be how they actually got this thing going.
Whoa.
Squandered all that money and put together a best effort that was designed to fail so we can't easily be sued because it's not really illegal to fail, it's illegal to fraud. So if you try...
How did this person get funding for an anime con? Who's funding anime cons? I will put on a real fucking anime con that will totally legit happen, not fraud, if you fund me instead.
Yeah. Someone funds me to run an anime con?
I will run a kick-ass anime con somewhere if you fund me so that I don't have to go to my regular job.
It would be the PAX of anime cons. I don't even.
The best fucking con. We'll start small the first year, but we're going to, we won't spend all your money. And then we're gonna profit for sure.
Wouldn't even need that much. You know what we need?
And we're gonna kick ass year after year, and we're gonna build that up. And within like the third year, it'll be like we'll be getting ready to like almost compete with Anime Boston.
I would need like 300K tops.
Sure. Oh, plus enough to live.
Well, yeah, plus that. Well, anyway. Yeah. But so basically, this thread appeared on 4chan, and is anyone planning on attending Akiba Expo? It's a first-year con in Anaheim. I wanted to go since it's 20-minute drive from my house, but I'm double thinking it because there's been some shady business practices and drama surrounding the event.
Don't double think it. You only need to think once. Shady? Nope. That's the one that you have to think. It's like, what? There's something shady about this? Nope.
Yep.
Nope.
So,
in all capitals. Nope.
Anna Twitter started looking at this con because they noticed it because people started talking about it a little bit. So I went and looked at the hashtags, and it was all people talking about how excited they were to go. And in fact, they're still talking about it. I think a lot of people attending this con don't know that it's gone. I'll bet people are going to show up in Anaheim because apparently they mailed their badges. People tweeted pictures of their fucking badges.
Oh, snap. So someone did something that wasn't complete fraud.
They did a lot, but from what I can gather, they posted a lineup of guests, and then one by one, the people who were listed were like, I didn't say I was attending that con.
Dun, dun, dun.
Supposedly someone who was trying to staff the con with guest relations leaked a bunch of emails and was like, yo, dog, this shit is not happening. All the
Why don't you just contact the space that it's supposed to be in?
So that was the other thing. No one was sure where it was because it was implied.
It doesn't have a location?
It was implied that it was at some convention center in Anaheim.
So call the convention center.
Yeah, people. So once Anna Twitter pointed at this, someone pointed out immediately like, yeah, that event is not listed on the Anaheim Convention Center. And then someone else said that, it looks like they're actually at just this hotel
Call the
in
hotel.
Anaheim. So yeah, so those investigations began like real recently. Like
How long has this convention been taking people's money?
Apparently a long time. This looks like it was around for a while.
What?
So the Facebook page went from "we're not a scam" to "the event is canceled." Their official website went from it looks like some generic Squarespace site with the convention rules and policies, which I shit you not, were a copy paste of a rave rules. Because it had all this shit about rave nonsense and how big your totems can be. And
totems?
Yeah, that's a raver thing.
Okay.
They bring these big totem poles and wave them around. It's the stupidest.
I never heard of this.
Go to a rave and read their rules. You were not allowed to bring professional video or camera equipment, which included anything with a detachable lens.
Okay.
You could not bring over-the-counter medicine of any kind or prescription medicine of any kind.
But the raves are full of drugs.
And
everyone brings them in, so I don't think these rules are being enforced very well.
I don't know. I don't go to a lot of raves.
Sure, okay.
But, yeah. So,
if you told me there was actually a rave that didn't have any drugs going on at it, like, I'm not going to be in a cloud of smoke. I mean, I like electronic music. I would totally go and have a dance.
You want to go to a straight edge rave? I know of a few in New York City.
But is it going to be huge, and is the good DJ going to be there?
Yeah,
or is it going to be some lame-ass DJ?
They're just straight edge. They're all like Henry Rollins fans going to these things.
Okay, maybe that's a good time.
There's also quiet events. They do raves that are big and giant, but everyone gets headphones, and the music's all just in the headphones.
I don't like that.
No, you don't like that?
No, that's not good.
What, do you want to like roll around in bubbles and get high on ecstasy? Like, what do you?
No, I want there to be just a dance party where it's music only and it's legit dancing.
But
with electronic music, it's not a rave with drugs and all sorts of weird light stick people, but normal people.
Here's there's what happened here with Akiba Expo brings up a lot of interesting points that may or may not be worth further discussion, not now, but in the future. One, who are these people who see a website for a convention and without looking at any other part of the internet, type their parents' credit card number in and rent a hotel room? Who are these people who are still, Dateline now, tweeting about the con, not knowing that it's gone? I found a tweet where someone's like, uh-oh, looks like the website's down. Hopefully it'll be back soon. I wanted something Artist Alley. It's like, yeah, dude.
Dun, dun, dun.
Dude. I think someone on Anna Twitter has a GoFundMe. He was like, I will fucking legit go to this thing and live tweet the entire convention if you send me there.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, so I wonder if he's going to go...
be tweeting from outside the hotel.
I wonder if he's going to go anyway and just see, like...
And interview these people who show up thinking there's going to be a convention when they're with their badges and there isn't anything there.
There is such demand for anime cons that pretty much any first-year con seems to sell out almost anywhere, which is actually kind of
I can't imagine this con was going to be that big in the hotel.
Well, according to the website, it's going to be the fucking biggest thing you've ever seen. You should have seen what was on this website. People are posting Google caches of what the website looked like. But the most beautiful thing in the world, my favorite thing, I got to pull it up here. Good night. So... Sans Duval tweeted, "Good night, sweet prince," 10 hours ago. And it is a screenshot of where they announced the convention is no longer happening. They didn't announce it on their website because that shit's gone. They announced it on their Facebook
page. Well, their website
page.
probably costs money if it's Squarespace.
Squarespace costs like $10 a month. Like, it's not.
I mean, if you're running away with all the money, you don't have $10 a month anymore, do you?
To our guests and fans, due to the recent rumors and allegations, we are forced to bring Akihabara Expo to a halt. Most of our staff have left the organization due to threats, as well as distrust of the exposition due to recent events. Without people to run the show, and without the people who helped us build this, we cannot execute a show that we would be proud of. In addition, most of our guests have left due to the constant drama and harassment our exposition has faced. We wish the show could go on, but without proper staffing and a solid lineup, we cannot bring the same quality and experience that we had promised you. If you wish to receive a refund, please fill the form below.
Please fill the form and we'll know who all the suckers are.
Yeah.
If anyone gets I want to hear from someone who gets a refund.
Oh, so option 2. Here's the other 50-50 odds on what happened here. It is possible, from some of the leaks I read of like guests were contacted but like weren't sent contracts, and it was all. It is possible that someone got in over their head and thought they could run a con and somehow got a hold of enough money to like start making a con, but just didn't know what the fuck they were doing and tried to just kind of string it all along until eventually it fell apart like a house of cards. I give even odds in either one of those things.
Whatever.
But you can just search for Akiba Expo on Twitter, and over the course of 2 days, you can see this go from 100 to 0, and it's beautiful.
All right. So, in other news that actually affects people who
this
aren't
is going to affect a lot of people.
Aren't stupid. There was some mumblings this week. Nothing like totally confirmed or locked in or anything like that. No details. But Netflix, who has been producing shows on their own, has shown great interest in making anime themselves.
And Bollywood.
Yes. This may mean that they'll actually have a studio at Netflix that produces like Netflix original anime, or maybe it means that like they'll hire a Japanese studio like Madhouse or somebody and be like, hey, here's a bunch of money, make this anime for us. Or who knows what, but there's going to be possibly some animes in the future within you know how many months or years that are only on Netflix until someone pirates them off of Netflix.
That's a big deal for one reason. That reason is the number, and that number
I mean, are they going to put this on Netflix in Japan, I presume, to try to get Netflix to be a thing in Japan? And maybe it is a thing there already.
They probably also make it global. But
sure.
That number, the reason this is a big deal is $5 billion. Netflix said next year alone, and just in 2016, they're going to spend $5 billion on original content. So think about how, because there was that leak way back of all the like licensing stuff, and you all know all the nonsense about how little people who make anime actually get paid. If Netflix gives even what they would consider a tiny budget to an existing anime studio, like 4C or
everyone's
something,
going to go work at that studio. Oh, 4C, definitely you got to pay them the big bucks, right? I mean, actually, that's the studio. If I was Netflix, that's what I definitely would do, is be like, 4C, Ghost in the Shell up in the house, here we go.
But think about this. If Netflix gave what they would consider a small budget to an anime studio, that would probably end up being the biggest budget any anime has ever had, ever.
In fact, well, Akira had a huge, but I'd be like...
Well, Akira's a movie. You're talking about shows.
Yeah. But yeah, well, you can make movies fucking too. Who cares? But yeah, I get like IG4C team up.
Yeah.
It's like, you could just be like, oh, all-star anime, here we go. I can just buy all your studios. I'm Netflix. You're tiny.
Yeah. It's kind of a big deal, actually, if this goes forward.
I know, right? Who knows? Whatever animes they make could be like anime of the century.
And couple this with the Hulu thing, and pretty much have Hulu and Netflix, and
so Rim spent a lot more time talking about his news, but this news is a way bigger deal. There's a lot less to say about it other than, holy shit, let's do it, come on!
Well, it does kind of relate into the actual topic of the show.
Which is all you.
Things of the day. So, speaking of those Netflix shows, one of the best ones in recent memory is BoJack Horseman. BoJack is actually a super good show. And if you don't know what BoJack is, like you haven't seen it, and you assume that it's something just based on like screenshots you might have seen of the horse-headed guy, or maybe seeing the first episode and thinking it's like Archer or something, it is not. It is a human drama. It's super good. I highly recommend it. Emily and I like just went crazy and binged on the entire thing, and now we're just waiting for the next season, which is already confirmed. But Cartoon Hangover at Frederator, they've been doing a thing recently. You might have seen these around. 107 facts about something. these are actually super good videos. So my thing of the day is 107 BoJack Horseman facts. And it's just 107 interesting things about BoJack Horseman, the show. And it ranges from like, did you notice this thing in the background of this one episode, to did you know this guy worked on it? Like Michael Eisner, something, like that kind of stuff. It's fascinating, and it's only like 20 minutes long.
Okay, so I didn't know about this until very recently, but in 2014, there was this short Toy Story movie that was like 20 minutes long called Toy Story That Time Forgot. Right?
All right.
It's a TV, I think it was on TV, but I guess there's a Blu-ray now or something. So you can watch this thing if you haven't seen it already. Apparently, despite only being like 20 minutes long, it took them like forever to make it because it's Toy Story level quality. It's like 20 minutes long, right? It was a big effort. And it's sort of about this story involving like these other toys that are called like the Battle Swords or something. And, you know, they don't know that they're toys, and the Toy Story toys have to fight with them, or, you know, typical kind of story. Anyway, so, you know, there's this fictional toy within the Toy Story world known as a battle sword, right? That is in this short 20-minute thing. Now, presumably, if you're a toy in the Toy Story world, you also have a cartoon, right? I'm sure there's a Buzz Lightyear cartoon that you can watch if you're in the Toy Story world. So there's theoretically, there would also be a Battle Swords cartoon. And what would the opener of that Battle Swords cartoon look like if it existed? Well, here it is. I'm not sure if this is actually part of that movie, the 20-minute movie, or I heard maybe this was just, because I've only seen this video on YouTube. I think it was also may have just been a special feature on the Blu-ray, if you got it, or DVD, right? But what this is theoretically the opener to Battle Swords, right? The fictional toy in the fictional Toy Story universe.
I'm kind of into that.
Why is this notable? Why do we care about this thing? It's just a cute little animation. It's not very long, right? It's like 44 seconds of animation because this 44 seconds of animation was animated by Studio Trigger, and therefore it is a thing of the day worthy.
Yeah, that might save anime.
That's right. So there you go.
In the meta moment, we have a Patreon, and you should back it. Listen to the show after the end of the credits, because I say the names of people back there, and possibly do some dumb stuff too. If
you're really so foolish as to give us money, I'm not going to tell you no, but I am going to be like, why? Really?
But at the same time,
why?
We're using that.
We have money. Why are you giving us money?
Well,
you probably have less money than we have.
But
if you have more money than we have, call me.
If everyone who listens to Geek Nights, based on the stats I have, gave us just $1.
1 penny.
Just $1.
Just 1 penny.
$1 a month? That's actually enough money to start funding like some cool stuff. And also, we're going to use this as an excuse to, for real, start up the Utena show again. I've already been doing some pre-production, and we're making a bunch of other videos and content. Like, we're going to start, the bigger that Patreon gets, the more things other than Geek Nights we're going to do.
Also, you can buy Geek Nights t-shirts made at Amazon store.
Yeah.
That's not a total waste of money, but it's still...
It's the classic Geek Nights shirt that actually we sold like a couple hundred of those things back in the day. And
I've hardly ever seen anyone wearing one ever.
Partly because we sold them a long time ago, and we only go to a few cons.
How many
now.
have you sold on Amazon so far?
5.
There you go. That's a good number.
Yeah, well, because we relaunched
That's what
them.
I expect.
Now we have classic.
And wasn't
Scott.
one of those sold by you to you?
Yeah, one of those
so,
I bought.
So 4.
I bought to make sure that they were good quality.
Do you have it?
No, it actually didn't arrive yet.
Isn't it from Amazon? Shouldn't it be here in 2 days?
No, because apparently so many people are doing the Amazon merch thing that they're way backed up.
Oh, okay, but anyway, so yeah, 4 people bought them. Good.
Yeah.
It shouldn't be a large number.
It's an okay shirt. I like the shirt a lot. It's a better poster, but it's a pretty good shirt.
Yeah.
So if you wanted to share your Geek
Do we
Nights
have
style,
any of those posters left?
Yeah, somewhere.
I forgot that we made them until just now.
I was thinking about reprinting them because those are actually easy. I could have a box of posters in the apartment. I'm not going to have a box of t-shirts across like 15 different sizes and 2 different colors.
We should make our website look like those posters instead of rebrand.
I would actually be kind of into that.
Yeah.
I like that style a lot. Emily did that design.
Right.
The book club book was The Wheel of Time. We read the first book. You should listen to that and read the first book. We since read the first 4 books. We're going to do a Patreon backers only show of the first 4 books of The Wheel of Time.
Whoa.
So you got to be giving us at least $1. You're not going to hear that one unless someone pirates it, which I guess I'm not gonna sue you if you
It'll
do
still
that.
be Creative Commons licensed. If you want to share it, go ahead.
Yeah, but it'll only be in Patreon, I guess.
We'll only link to it from there. So it's basically honor system.
Yeah, I mean,
Because really, you're dumbass if you give us money, and I don't really care.
I've pirated things in my life, so if someone pirates my stuff, I have basically no ground to stand on at all. So
You can't pirate something that's Creative Commons licensed.
I am nothing if not.
It's not even.
Yes, you
it's not
can
even
if you
pirating.
don't give attribution,
That's true.
motherfuckers.
Yeah, I would be pissed if someone like, unattributed. That would be like, really? It's like
I've found like websites that have our content occasionally, like a YouTube channel that has the audio from one of our episodes with a different title, not attributing us, with one view.
But the audio is there, which has us attributing ourselves in it.
I guess.
And if they ripped out us saying who we were and put in something else, that would be weird.
Yeah, extra weird.
Yeah.
Luckily, we're pretty. We've done a lot, so it'd be really hard to pretend you were us at this point.
Sure.
And last but not least, we are going to be at MagFest.
Have we sorted out me going to MagFest?
I'm going to continue to sort that out, but we're going to be at a bunch of panels and probably do 1 or 2 lectures. So stay tuned.
I'm
MagFest.
mostly just going to play games at MagFest.
Yeah, my modus
We
operandi
should
at
organize
MagFest.
some of like our own tournament. We should either do Magical Drop or Star Wars.
Oh, you want to do some for real tournaments?
Yes.
Among us and ours? Because other than that and doing panels, my modus operandi is getting
Or
way...
Space War.
way. Oh, we're going to play a shit ton of Space War.
Space War.
I tend to get way drunk at MagFest, wander around playing arcade games. And at least one Eclipse game.
We should come up with like a point system. It's like, like this game of Settlers is worth 10 points for the winner, and no points for anyone else, and so on. And then keep score for all of MagFest.
Well, if we're going to do that, we should make like a Google
form. And then
form.
we can declare a winner of MagFest.
In the very least, we should make a Google form because people can fill
where
those out
people
on their
enter
form.
in the game that they played, who won.
Exactly, because then...
All we really need to know is game played, who was in it, and who won.
And that way we can, after the fact, sit down and figure stuff out. Like, all right, Scott won like 50 games of Wizard, but Rim won the Eclipse game. Those are about equivalent effort.
And we could also do stuff like play Dig Dug whenever you feel like, post your high score for the weekend. And then we can see who is the best at Dig Dug over the whole
I almost
weekend.
kind of want to start a subterfuge game like 3 days before MagFest.
No, I don't think I'm going to play Subterfuge again. It's just too time-consuming and distracting. It's a good game, but it's just like it eats your whole life and all your attention, and it sort of messes up everything else in your life while you're playing one.
There was one moment where I remember I was laying in bed, I was looking at Subterfuge, and I could see that Andrew was online.
I turned off the notifications for the last 2 days, and that was great because I only checked it like twice a day. And it didn't mess my life up anymore, but I really couldn't do anything much. And I'd open it up and be like, oh, look at all the shit that happened. Fuck me. So you couldn't win doing it like that.
Yeah. Well, you, Mr. Literally everyone told me that you tried to make an alliance of everyone against Rim immediately. But that's neither here nor there. That's Geek Nights Tuesdays. This is Geek Nights Wednesdays. So I don't know how long this will actually be, but... this topic is something that might
Rim
piss
thought
off.
of. He thought it was a good idea for a show, and I have nothing to say.
I didn't have a better idea for a show.
I have better ideas for shows. You just haven't read or watched any of the things that are better ideas for shows.
You haven't read or watched any of the things that I also have better ideas for a show. So that's the problem. I guess we could go to the Dave and Joel format of we watch completely separate things and review them separately next to each other.
But I just gave the things that I just read. I just gave to you to read. You're gonna read them.
I'm gonna read them, and then we'll do the thing on them.
So
Recently, I've decided that I'm going to change the way I talk about something very specific, and that is anime and manga. I'm not going to use the word manga anymore, and I'm
at all?
Pretty much, I'm not going to use the words anime and manga when I talk about this stuff. Because
you just did.
Yeah, and I'm going to try to break away from that because I don't think calling something anime and meaning that it is Japanese animation made in Japan is a worthwhile distinction anymore.
I don't care.
Yeah, but that's it. I don't care. And
I mean, it's useful to me because, that it makes like when I'm searching for a show to watch, it makes it a lot more organized if that's separated out, the animes from the not animes.
But the majority of the animation I watch is not anime, and in a lot of the rest of the
well,
world...
for me it is.
And in a lot of the rest of the world, as we've often done and talked about in our panels, like in Italy... anime, they call Adventure Time anime. It just means animation, usually foreign animation. So Sailor Moon fan subs.
I don't think there's too much Italian animation. I mean, there's got to be some, but
yeah,
I've never heard
but
one.
Sailor Moon fan subs are next to
I'd like
Adventure
to see one.
Time.
If you know the awesome Italian animation, hook me up because I want to see it. In fact, the same goes if you know the best animations from any country that isn't Japan, the United States, France, or Ireland, or Russia. Those are all the countries I've seen good animations from. If you have good animations from other countries, I know they exist, please tell me. I want to watch them.
But so Answer Man actually today.
Oh, Canada. The Canadian. I've seen their animation.
Yeah, there's a lot of animation
Yeah,
there.
okay.
So Answer Man today actually, because I read this earlier, has an article that was sort of got me thinking about this concept. And the question was, you should read Answer Man, by the way, if you're an anime fan. I'm going to keep saying anime. I'm just going to mean something different.
Sure.
I can't stop saying anime.
Uh-huh.
Christopher asked the Answer Man, with the anime otaku industry being a fairly robust fandom in the West, I was wondering, is that mirrored for Western animation cartoons over in Japan?
Well, Emily's told us that they have Cartoon Network in Japan, and the dubs are really good.
Yeah.
But I've seen some Dexter's Lab Japanese, and man, the dub is really good.
Yeah, it is. But are there groups that work on fan subbing episodes of things like Steven Universe or Gravity
Well,
Falls?
no, because they just have dubs of everything on their real TV, like Simpson. Like they know Simpsons are everywhere in the world.
Yeah.
It's not like
So, but the question kind of was
Cartoon
getting
Network
at,
shows are everywhere in the world. Disney shows are everywhere in the world.
Is there a fan culture like we have in the U.S.? And his answer is something that I've seen mirrored in other places and echoed around the world, is that no, it's pretty much only Americans that go like ape shit and weird about anime fandom. Like anime fandom being its own thing, separate in the US, fandom of animation specifically and only from Japan, that doesn't really happen everywhere else. It's just America that does this to the degree that it does
Well,
it.
because a community arose, right? It's because the history, right? There was
World War II.
Right. Well,
and military brats and military servicemen coming back to the States, having watched a bunch of anime while they were stationed there.
Right, and they formed communities in the United States to watch this stuff, whereas other countries, say, I don't know, like France, it's like they didn't get the anime as early as we did. There wasn't a community there formed around it. They got it when it started being exported the same way it's being exported now. And it was just to everyone at once, suddenly. They went from zero to hero. We had this in-between part where there was this society built around it. And the current anime culture in the United States is simply the enlargement and, evolution of that original community that did not exist elsewhere.
Notice the primary complaint from anime fans who actually care about anime specifically from Japan when it comes to fan culture. That the fan culture of anime in the US, if you look at the convention scene, the forum scene, anything like that, has expanded to include pretty much all animation. Like Steven Universe stuff is one of the biggest cosplays at anime cons in the US.
Sure.
That's the kind of thing that's talked about
because
a lot.
A lot of the people now who happen to like anime, they are not originally coming from that, community. They're coming, they're just fans of animation who are coming into the community from the outside to go to the convention.
So imagine
they didn't grow from, a fan sub place.
So imagine anime fan conventions in a world where that generic outside influence never came in. And anime cons would basically be identical to like Star Trek cons and sci-fi cons. The deeply
Some of them are.
Yeah, deeply insular, kind of like really outside of mainstream culture, kind of weird, and kind of inaccessible to outsiders. But instead, anime cons became animation comic cons in a super general sense. And I actually realized something that I hadn't thought about before, because for a while, like I vacillated between anime cons should probably focus on anime and let generic conventions like Kineticon be the fans of whatever conventions. But in that world, there is almost no reason to have an anime con anymore at all. Like even less of a reason than to have sci-fi cons, because there's so few actual anime that would come out where someone would have interesting content to present. Like there's no reason to have a panel. How many times can you talk about Evangelion?
I mean, the reason the conventions existed in the U.S. in the first place was in order to like copy all your fan sub tapes with other people.
Yup.
Right? So we don't need to do that anymore. And then it was, well, even though we have, anime available, it's not widely available. We'll screen it here. Well, now you can just watch it on Hulu, all of it.
And then it was, this is a niche fandom, so if you want like lit crit or analysis or like lectures or like academic interesting content, Anime Cons was where it was at. Like, you'd go see Fred Schott or someone.
The reason for an Anime Con to exist is for anime fans to get together and be with each other and have a good time and cosplay, because you can't really do that anywhere, or take pictures of cosplay, and do other fun events that you can't do unless you're physically with other people, like maybe play some games and those sorts of things. And all the other things that do happen don't really need to happen. That they can just be on YouTube, or, you know, they don't, it's like we don't need to have the con for those things to happen. So it's like, yeah, you can have your con, but it, you know, and I guess that, you know, that you to meet guests, right? There are people that you can see at Anime Con.
Even though people mostly seem to care about the American voice actors, but
I mean, that's still a reason to go, right? There people will come who, you know, make a public appearance, and you want to enjoy their public appearance and have them entertain you, and they need to be paid to do that. And a con will bring up the money from all your entry fees in order to make that happen.
So in the modern era, why not have the Steven Universe fandom also there? Is there any good reason why not?
No, I mean, it doesn't matter. It's people getting together in a place to enjoy what they enjoy. So if, you know, if all the people who enjoy, say, A, also enjoy B, like I imagine most of the people who like Adventure Time probably like Steven Universe. How many people are there that are like Adventure Time only or Steven Universe only?
Actually, what's weird is a lot of people who are deep into Adventure Time that I see, and even some people we know, once they saw Steven Universe, it's like they forgot what Adventure Time was and decided Steven Universe is great and Adventure Time sucks.
Why does Adventure Time suck?
Because Steven Universe has a straightforward, direct narrative, and Adventure Time is cool and experimental.
Anyway.
Yeah.
But
I've had some arguments.
You liked it for all those years, and now suddenly you just change your mind? Now
yeah, I've had some arguments.
What?
Yeah.
It makes no sense. That's like the people who are like, Cowboy Bebop was good until it got popular. It's like,
like that guy.
The show is the same show. It doesn't change. It's the same animation. It can't change. Quality doesn't change over time.
Yep.
Anyway, but yeah.
But so here's what I'm getting at. The only distinction between anime at an Anime Con and Steven Universe at an Anime Con is that the people and studio that made that anime were owned by a Japanese interest in Japan. And I had to be kind of circumspect there because a lot of animation gets outsourced to Korea. Is that anime now?
Or other places.
Yeah. So if the only distinction is this specific view of made by Japanese people in Japan, which is being blurred by the fact that the world is modern and global, then the only reason to have an Anime Con that excludes...
Well, you have to admit that, you know, it's not necessarily the fact that it was made in Japan by Japanese people. It's that the kind of animation that is made by, you know, for a Japanese audience, not even necessarily by Japanese people or by a Japanese studio, right? That is, you know, called anime, has certain genres, tropes, styles, even though I know that there's no uniform anime style.
True, but...
Right? But there are certain tropes and certain characteristics of those animations versus other animations. Not that other animations from other countries don't, you know, completely exclude those tropes, but...
So what about shows like Wakfu from France that have all those tropes and might as well be an anime, except they're not made in Japan? Like, they're in that same, you know, quote-unquote genre.
Wakfu is a bad show. I don't like it.
Yeah, but I'm saying it has all those tropes. Why is that not welcome then at an Anime Con? Because, again, you're getting back to this
Why would you not welcome it?
It's not. It's not anime.
The
The people who want to make the definition, I feel like there's no purpose for Anime Cons being restricted based on Japan.
It's a convention. It's people are getting together to have a good time and enjoy the culture that they share. If there's culture that they share, they will enjoy it in that space that they come together. It's not about it's not the culture part doesn't come first. It's the people come first, right? You get the like-minded people. Whatever they have like-minded is what they're gonna do, right? If you went to a sci-fi con a long time ago, it'd have been like mostly Star Trek shit and Ray Bradbury shit. And if you go to one now, it's probably gonna be like
the exact same people and nothing's changed.
Maybe, but
yeah, I've been to sci-fi cons.
But it's like, you know, there's newer, like if you go to Fantasy Con, it's like they're, you know, maybe before they're all Lord of the Rings and now they're all Game of Thrones, and it's just, you know, the things change, but it's those people, whatever the people that are coming to the convention, that community, whatever that community that's getting together enjoys, that's what they're going to celebrate while they're there. Even if you kept it to just anime, it used to be Full Metal Alchemist, and then it was Naruto, and now it's something else. It's like, okay.
So last night, Emily and I were watching a whole bunch of AMVs, and that was interesting because at this point, I feel like people still call like they say AMV, but most of the new things like that that are being made are all to like Steven Universe and Adventure Time and BoJack and stuff like that.
Okay.
But I found, remember that older Right Now one?
Yeah.
Right Now. That was like the biggest deal AMV back in the day.
None of the shows in that anyone knows.
Oh no, we were watching it and Emily and I were like, wow, literally no one in AnimeCon would know who the fuck Ryoga is. Like this doesn't make any sense to anyone in the modern era, except us old people. So I guess it's hard to stop saying anime because it's so widely used, but I'm no longer going to call manga comics are comics. I'm just going to call any sort of like sequential art like that a comic. I'm not going to try to make a distinction for manga just because it was made in the islands of Japan.
I don't distinct it because it's made in the island of Japan. I distinct manga because when manga is produced in a different way, right, then
paying people even less.
Well, yes, paying people even less, but the fact that it's weekly and in black and white and produced rapidly, right, results in, a different, there are certain qualities that you will get in that kind of production that you do not get in a comic made in the U.S. in Marvel where it's a monthly pamphlet.
Yeah, but
right?
at the same time,
you get a different result doing things that way, and therefore, even though it's still sequential art, that makes it a different genre. Not the fact that it's from Japan, but the fact the way it's produced, causes certain characteristics that make it a different genre, or at least section. Even if you both have superheroes, like a superhero is a genre, you could have a superhero manga and an American superhero comic, but the superhero manga will be significantly different from
but you could say the same
the
thing.
American version because of that distinction.
Like there are words to talk about French comics. French comics have the same thing. Like
the bande dessinée.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's why they call them bande dessinée because, or I'm probably pronouncing that wrong.
That's close enough.
But it's
here's
because
the thing.
it's a big fancy ass book and it's like the way they produce it is so different. You get a different result that you would never see from someone making a comic in the U.S. Although
most people in America,
someone in the U.S. could make an album just like the way the French do. They just don't.
But most people in America, even comics fans, even people who know a lot about it, don't call them bande. They call them comics.
I call them bande dessinée.
You do. You're weird. Most
but
people
that's
don't.
all. But the thing is, when I get a French comic, it's not in that format anymore, is it? It's in like a trade paperback. If it was still in that big ass book, I use that word to refer to those big ass books, the albums.
Yep.
Bande dessinée.
The thing is, I've seen a lot of those that are
croissant.
not. I ever tell
Omelette
you
de fromage.
when I was in high school taking French class, there was a kid. His name was Sean, and we had to pick French names for the class. Like language classes.
Was his name fromage?
So he was like croissant.
Oh.
And the teacher's like, you can't call yourself croissant. And he made a big fucking deal about that. And eventually, the school said, all right, fine. He can call himself croissant. You can't stop it.
Croissant.
And that, I called that guy croissant for 4 years.
Even outside class?
Yeah.
A+. My hero.
It became his name.
What's up, croissant?
And on that note, we killed enough time with a topic that'll piss some people off, and we'll have consumed
Grim
some
seems to care a lot about this. I don't give a shit.
We'll have I feel like anime cons that try to focus on just Japan in the U.S. in the modern era edge into this fetishizing Japan area.
People have been fetishizing Japan for a long ass time.
Yeah.
Since we discovered that it existed.
And I feel like there's almost zero value to conventions around that in the modern era.
I mean, yeah.
Yeah.
Mm.
But now we'll have consumed some shared media, and we'll have a topic of a review of some kind on the next Wednesday show. This has been Geek Nights with Rim and Scott. Special thanks to DJ Pretzel for the opening music, Kat Lee for web design, and Brando K for the logos.
Be sure to visit our website at frontrowcrew.com for show notes, discussion, news, and more.
Remember, Geek Nights is not one, but 4 different shows. Sci-Tech Mondays, Gaming Tuesdays, Anime Comic Wednesdays, and Indiscriminate Thursdays.
Geek Nights is distributed under a Creative Commons Attribution 3.0 license. Geek Nights is recorded live with no studio and no audience. But unlike those other late shows, it's actually recorded at night.
This episode's Patreon patrons are, in order of the amount of money they give us: Rebecca Dunn, Nicholas Brandow, James David White, Christian Kuntz, Jessica L. Barlow, Mechanical Mine, Finn Eric Solverod, Rim Eats Poop, Edgar Mendez, William Eisenrose, Chris Midkiff, Chris Knox, Flame Darkfire, Samuel Cordery, Daniel Redmond, Chris Haddad, Doug Snyder, Sean Klein, Chris Reimer, and Thomas Hahn. And now I present to you, as promised in the Kickstarter page, something super dumb.
It was the baby I stole from Randor, Princess Adora.
Princess Adora?
You remember? The baby. The baby, we broke into the palace that time. It was the only time me and you worked together.
Yes, I remember. Yes, the baby. Oh, yes, the baby, yes. What?
The baby, Skeletor. You remember. You must remember. It was that one time. Remember, I was having a hard time with the vehicle, couldn't get the jetpack flying on the... You remember?
Oh, yes, the baby, of course. Yeah, the baby. What?
The baby. Skeletor, think. The baby. You remember? We spent hours looking for a crib, and we fashioned a crib from ostrich feathers. You remember? We took a little bit of hay and ostrich feathers. It was the only time, Skeletor. Remember? Remember the milk? You remember having to nurse the baby, right?
What?
Skeletor, it was your plan. You drew up the plans in front of me. It took like 3 hours, Skeletor. Mostly you were just standing there saying, take the baby, take the baby.
Yes, the baby, take the baby. As long as I live, I will never forget this day.